Так, а що, я в середину, що ли? Ви ініціатори там всі.
Доброго дня. Good afternoon, dear colleagues. We continue the work of UCMC, and the topic is initiation of international advocacy and movement of solidarity with Crimean Tatar people. Our speaker is Eskender Bariev, head of board of Crimean Tatar Resource Center, member of Mejlis of Crimean Tatar people. Loode, expert of Estonian Institute of Human Rights. Andriy Yermolenko, artist and designer, and Mykola Krutsyk, representative of the Association of Ukrainians in Republic of Ireland. And due to the schedule of work of the Verkhovna Rada, Eskender Bariev is not here today. And now the floor is given to Eskender Bariev. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, dear ladies and gentlemen. Today, we gathered here today. We want to say that international campaign of solidarity for the occupation of Crimea and support of Crimean Tatar people, and this campaign is now in the active phase, and we would like to tell you about this initiative, and we will also demonstrate slides, and we will tell you about the main tasks and goals and what we achieved as of today. And we adhere to the main principle that no matter how much we speak about the violations of human rights in Crimea, the main reason is the occupation, because they persecute people based on ethnic and religious principle. They persecute people for their clear position. And during the time of occupation of Crimea, we see systemic violations of rights of Crimean Tatar people, of Ukrainians, of different nationalities, people who have a clear position. And we start the campaign, and we call it Liberate Crimea, and it means freedom to Crimea. And this campaign also is the part of the campaign. This is not alternative to the Crimea is Ukraine. And these are not separate campaigns. These are campaigns that add each other. And when we elaborate this program, we believe that we should reinforce our soft power in order to bring more attention of international community and citizens and the Western world, and not only Western, but the experts, politicians, to bring their attention to the tragedy that happened in 2014. And Liberate Crimea is an international civil campaign in order to support the liberation of Crimea, and in order to support integrity of Ukraine and Crimean Tatar people, and call on a seizure of illegal occupation of Crimea. And this was said by the president of Ukraine, and there should be a platform, that international platform, that would fight for liberation of Crimea. And we, as civil society, try to initiate this idea and to implement this idea into life. The main goals. So the idea was also in the strategy of diplomacy of the Crimean Tatar people, that we developed this strategy in 2016, and point 6 states that at the international level, the day of opposition to occupation of Crimea may be used for the development of international movement of solidarity to support Crimean Tatar and to deoccupy Crimea. The main goals are to increase awareness of population and international community about continuation of occupation of Crimea and the necessity to cease this occupation. Also to express solidarity with those who oppose occupation and who put their life in danger because of this, and to join the program and to help in its liberation. And we believe that we should fight peacefully, and we understand that for us it is really important that our citizens, that they preserve their lives, and we should remind the international community that today that Crimea is occupied illegally, and it was annexed illegally by Russian Federation, and we fight for the restoration of integrity of Ukraine. And we started this campaign and the preparation to this campaign in January 2018, and in February 2018 we had several logos you may see on the screen. And one of the main logos that we took for the basis, this is black and white, in order to remind about the problems that exist in Crimea, and to prevent information that Crimea should be liberated. In 2018, on the 26th of February, first international campaigns were launched, and several mottos were provided, and you may see them on the screen. And these are the posters and creative posters, and this is one of the approaches in this campaign in order to bring attention of leading media and also the attention of the public. On the 26th of February 2018, we were able to hold the action at the international level. You see this action in Kiev. This is in the left, and to the right you may see the action in Helsinki, Finland. And in lower corner you may see and in the middle in Vilnius, and in the right corner in Melitopol. So Liberate Crimea action at the international level, we implemented these actions at the international level, and it was done successfully. But we do not stop, and in August 2018, in the area that is near Crimea, we held a summer camp, and we worked on the ideas, and this was Liberation Camp, and we had some performances and flash mobs, and you may see also one of the performance, and we plan to demonstrate this performance in many countries of the Western world. Also, you may see the action that we held at the border with occupied Crimea, and in this action there were volunteers, and then we started to call on to join this Liberate campaign, and you may see it on sites, in the media, and in the framework of summer camp, Liberation Camp. We started working the group headed by expert. This is a well-known designer and artist, Mr. Andriy Yermolenko, and you may see the posters that were developed due to this work of the group. And now I would like to give the floor to Andriy. Good afternoon. What I want to say, for me, personally, why I joined this initiative, because I believe that the war will end when Crimea returns to Ukraine, when Crimean Tatars will be able to return back home, and this will be the end of war, the end of Russian and Ukrainian war. And I teach people to fight in the forms of images, some memes and some slogans. And this year I was in a summer camp, and I was impressed that people are really productive at a grassroots level. Those people who are really creative. I am not able to do such things. These are just genius. And I do not know how to say this, but I would like to teach people how to use their own skills and to use them, to use their creative skills in their struggle, to use their imagination. And also about other things, one of my main tasks, and the group we have also have this task, we want to engage people who are outside, those who may find the poster on internet and print it, and maybe they are not the members of Liberate Crimea initiative, but they can find this poster on internet and they can go in action in any part of the world, and in such a way they will become the part of our movement for liberation of Crimea. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Однозначно.
Yes, definitely. Without professionals, without the assistance, no professional grade information could be presented. So visual information is important, so that with a visual approach we can communicate the tragedy which we experience. So you see now the action in the occupied Crimea. On the pictures, activists of Liberate Crimea managed to post the posters that the sources of water on the occupied Crimean territory cannot be restored until the occupation is over. So in some locations, in some at some rivers of Crimea, the posters were located, and mass media sources covered the information with pictures of the posters and communicated information to the population in Crimea and outside Crimea. Starting from today, we continue our activities with our volunteers, our supporters. We will bring our ideas into performances. We will hold public events and draft plans so that we apply a systemic approach. And I'm proud to say we have a volunteer team which is strong in the territory of Ukraine and in the territory of European countries. And I think that in announcing our further events, you will get information when I will give the floor to our colleagues. I'd like to give the floor to our friend, expert of Estonian Human Rights Institute, who will communicate you information about this campaign and its events.
I would like to speak on behalf of the Estonian Institute of Human Rights. We are glad to continue collaboration with Crimean Tatar Resource Center after successfully completing a project about Crimean Tatar public diplomacy earlier last year. So, in fact, this new project that is meant to, among else, to support the Liberate Crimea movement that Eskender was talking about, is called Initiating an Advocacy and Solidarity Movement for Crimean Tatars via Contemporary Educational and Information and Communication Technology Solutions. It's a long name for the project, but really it is to support this initiative that Eskender was explaining. The lead partner for this project is the Estonian Institute of Human Rights. Our main partner in Ukraine is Crimean Tatar Resource Center, and this project is supported by the Development Cooperation Program of the Estonian Ministry of Foreign Affairs. It started in July and will last until end of next year. I will just say very briefly the general direction and activities as part of this project. So we have already started recruiting and training volunteers. for the civic movement. And we are in the process of developing a more detailed strategy and a roadmap that would include activities both outside Ukraine, focusing on key European Union member states, but also in Ukraine itself. We will develop a website for the project and hopefully for the movement itself. And we are right now in the process of planning international coordinated events for next year. We are not yet in the position to announce precisely the dates and locations of those events, but it is clear that that next year, 2019, will have some very important milestones for Crimea and for Crimean Tatars. Of course, it is no news that 2019 will mark the 5th year of Crimea's occupation, but just the same way it will mark the 5th year of the resistance to Crimean occupation. As well, we should not forget that 2019 will be the 75th year of the Crimean Tatar deportation and genocide. And these are all dates, these and others are dates that we will be thinking about when also planning this project. And so the contribution that we from the Estonian side can bring to this is among else, sharing Estonian experiences in these kinds of things. We are, of course, ourselves were occupied by the Soviet Union for half a century, so have developed some history and experience in resistance movements and national liberation movements. But also more recently in Estonia, there are some good examples of civil society movements, especially including in areas where we have some strengths, such as using, let's say, modern ICT solutions for developing civic initiatives. And we will also be supporting and coaching our partners on conducting advocacy in the EU and within individual EU member states. I would like to complete this short speech by two calls of action, so to say. The first one is a call to action for volunteers for the Liberate Crimea campaign. We are in the process of recruiting and training a very good group already, but we are open and really looking forward to even more volunteers to join Liberate Crimea movement from, especially from Europe, from the EU, but also all over the world. There can be a very important role for many volunteers in this. And secondly, also, I would like to call upon international organizations that care about the same goals as we were describing, to partner with Liberate Crimea in different ways. And it is easy to get in touch with us, either by contacting Crimean Tatar Resource Center, who is leading on this, or also by contacting us through the Facebook page of Liberate Crimea movement. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Oliver. А сейчас я хочу предоставить.
Now I would like to give the floor to Ukrainian patriot who heads the Association of Ukrainians in Ireland, Mr. Mykola, who initiated the action under the United Flag, Mykola Krutsyk, representative of association, and we start an action from today under the United Flag. We shall liberate Crimea. I would like to greet everyone. I would like to tell you about the action under the United Flag. United with the flag, this is the action which history is when two Ukrainian flags have been traveling all over the world, and then they were brought to Kiev, and now they are kept in the Museum of the National History of Ukraine. The team of volunteers from 20 countries have already been gathered by us, so we are very glad to join Liberate Crimea movement. We shall continue united with the flag action. You see now the flag, this Crimean Tatar flag will travel all over the world, and I think we shall cover more countries, European and Asian ones. And then on June 26th, this flag will be back in 2019 on the day of Crimean Tatar flag. On October 16 this month, Australian Ukrainians will come here. Upon arrival, they will take this flag, and it will travel within November all cities of Australia. Then it will move to the USA and Canada, and then Argentina, Europe, and Asia. The format of this section we shall discuss at the Coordination Council meeting on 12th, 13th, and 14th of October. All the rest of information which will be produced during the discussions, you will see it at the website, so you will find out then the details of the action, how it will be held. I'd like to add that the idea that within the scope of the section, goodwill people can unite who care about the situation with the occupied Crimea, with the aggression against Ukraine on the part of the Russian Federation. And I think people from various national ethnic regions will unite in this section. And the World's Congress of Crimean Tatars and the World's Congress of Ukrainians, they will support us in this action, and we hope that this action will help to unite diasporas of Ukrainians and Crimean Tatars, and we had talks with diasporas of Turkish people, of Azerbaijanians, and others. So we hope that various nationalities can unite around the fight for the occupation of Crimea. And this way, I hope we can attract more and more attention to these issues in international mass media, which will press the Russian Federation, which conducted the crime in 2014, and continue it. Mr. Rifat Chubarov, the president of the World's Congress of Crimean Tatars, is not here today, unfortunately, because of the holidays and the Day of Defender. This is the holiday in Ukraine today, and yes, we should fight at all fronts, and our defenders in the south and east of Crimea, they should be supported by volunteers on permanent basis. On the other hand, systemic work of international solidarity movement should be in place, and the fight should be in place at all levels, both at the frontier of the country on the level of legitimate army of Ukraine and at the level of public and at the level of international institutions, international movements, and primarily diasporas who love Ukraine, who fight for Ukraine, who support Ukraine. And to finalize, I would like to say that we move on this path forward. We declare Liberate Crimea, and we want Russia to liberate Crimea and go away from Ukrainian territory so that we can live in peace and our country remain integral.
Якщо запитань немає, дякую за увагу.
If there are no questions, thank you very much.